Well, there's this situation with me and the light on the ship. The guy was trying to stop me. It was like a baby. And then, it was gone. I was worried about him. And even if I would have done it all, he couldn't come anymore. It was a long time ago. It was a little late. I was going to be a moment. I just wanted to tell you that I was much better than I was then. Now, my son Arthur has just been awarded a storytelling prize at his primary school. But the story I just told you is not from myself. It's actually a science fiction script written by an artificial intelligence based on thousands of books and movies in the science fiction realm. As the proud father of a wannabe storyteller, when I read this text and I read what my son is writing, I can't avoid thinking that there's a lot of similarities. It is raw, not totally there. There's still a long way to go for maturity. There's a lot of potential, but it's still not there. And to a certain extent, that extract from the movie speaks to where we stand today in artificial intelligence. My name is Cedric Chambaz. I'm the head of marketing for Microsoft Search Advertising in Europe. And today I want to talk about the heart in artificial intelligence. If artificial intelligence is by design artificial, how can it have a heart? How can it have emotions? And then, if artificial intelligence is designed by people that are thinking, feeling, how can it not have a heart? Now, this is a very critical question for marketers like us, right? Because our job is to trigger emotional response from consumers, from customers. But on the other end, we're using more and more technology, algorithm, automation. So can we do a great job if the technology can't help us with our ambitions? So, this is the agenda for the day. We'll start by defining what artificial intelligence is. And then we'll be talking about what we can expect from artificial intelligence as users, marketers, people. And I'm going to show you along the way a series of technology from companies like Microsoft that help bring those expectations to life already today. So let's start with the first question. What is artificial intelligence? If we want to check if there is a heart beating inside artificial intelligence, we need to understand where artificial intelligence is coming from. Artificial intelligence is a 30-year-old discipline. It's a full corpus of engineering, R&D, research that has been evolving quite fast in the recent days, but finds its origin 30 years ago. Artificial intelligence is built on 3 building blocks: machine learning, human learning, and data science. And to many extent, there is a lot of similarities between the development of artificial intelligence and raising a child. Your children will get their foundational knowledge from their parents, from their teachers, from the books they read in school. Artificial intelligence works the same way. They learn from a whole set of data with known properties and connections. You need to think about that as a if-then scenario. If my son is nice throughout the year, Papa Noel will bring him a present. If my daughter sees a puddle, she knows she has not to jump in it if she doesn't want her feet to get wet. If you like that book, you should like this one. If you buy this computer, then you need to buy this accessory. That's how artificial intelligence works, right? That's a very basic example. I'm going to give you a lot more examples, but that is this if-then scenario that I wanted to talk about. Then, how many of you have got kids? Right, so that will resonate, and if you don't have kids, that will resonate also. Kids very rapidly know that if they shout and cry, they'll get your attention, right? Imagine yourself at El Corte Inglés and suddenly there's this little boy shouting, "Ah!" He will get your attention. But as a parent, this is a lovely piece of technology, but it's But as a parent, you will want to make sure that your kid understands that shouting and crying is not a normal way to talk and communicate. So you will correct that. Same goes with machine learning. Human learning is this ability for you as data scientist and engineer to course correct the machine learning that is happening right now. You can help the machine learn the right way. For instance, for Cortana, the digital assistant that Microsoft has developed and embedded in Windows phones, on Windows 7 and the Windows 10 devices, etc. Cortana is an artificial intelligence working for you as an individual, but behind the scene there's a whole set of engineers helping the AI to learn the right way. They are correcting the learnings, they are providing input to make those responses more human, to make those responses more relevant. Then comes data science. Data science is the ability to process huge amount of data and to find connections where we don't know exist. That's, for instance, trying to draw correlation between the weather and the car failure. Not immediate correlation, but then by processing huge amount of information, you might be able to correlate the weather, the temperature of the weather, with the fact that your central system is not working anymore. So 3 big building blocks that help artificial intelligence. And the reason why we are talking so much about artificial intelligence today is because it has been accelerated thanks to the growing power of processing capabilities of computers, both on-premise and in the cloud. But you may ask yourself, what is the underpinning? What is the fuel to that technology? Well, it all comes from data. And where is this data coming from? Where is the DNA of artificial intelligence? It's us. We are providing that data. We are making that data. So artificial intelligence will be as good as the data that it ingests. Artificial intelligence will be as human as the data it ingests. Artificial intelligence will be as socially acceptable as the data it ingests. Now, to bring that to life, I'd like to share with you 2 examples of artificial intelligence. Who has heard of Tay? No? Okay. So Tay, if we move to the next slide. Tay is a Twitter bot. Thank you. Oops. Next. Tay is a Twitter bot. Seriously? Okay, so Tay is a Twitter bot that has been designed to learn through machine learning based on the input it takes in. Now, a few people, when Tay came to the fore, decided to tweak that input and make it learn bad things, racism, sexism. And suddenly what was a pure artificial intelligence became a very aggressive person. And that's an example of Tay. Now, Tay was a very early experiment from us. We just wanted to see, how does the technology evolve based on the social signals. Now, let me introduce you to another example. Thank you. If you move to the next slide. This other example comes from China. Chambaz is a very similar piece of technology. Chambaz is an AI tapping into social signals, search, logarithm, and it learns. It has developed an IQ and an EQ. It has fostered great relationship with people that were engaging with her. If you told her that you went through a heartbreak or that you broke up with your boyfriend, she will check on you. If you showed her a picture of your dog, she will recognize the breed of the dog and she will ask how the dog is evolving. Now, there were a few examples on the left of that slide that were speaking to the level of engagement that the people had with her. They were asking her to marry, they were asking her to when her birthday was, etc., etc. It was a very deep emotional connection. The number of exchanges during a conversation between Chambaz and her user were 26 exchanges. 26. Think about the time you are sending text to your friends. How many times do you send 26 exchanges? So a very deep emotional connection. And to say that Chambaz was popular, that's an understatement. When we launched Chambaz on WeChat, in 3 days, 1.5 million conversations have been taking place. We launched it on Weibo, which is a Chinese equivalent to Twitter. And in a week, Chambaz was a celebrity. It was trending, and it was asked by Brown to become an endorser. So when you look at the success of Tay and the success of Chambaz, you've got a very interesting insight there. It's like two twins, separated at birth, raised in two very different environments, with two very different influences and then two very different outcomes. So what can we expect from AI with that in mind? Could I have a clicker? That might be easier. Thank you. Okay, going back to Google technology. Right. So what can we expect from AI? But as I said in introduction, there is an acceleration of the pace of computing. The processing power of our devices, our virtual and physical machine has accelerated. And then it has enabled us to accelerate three underpinning technology that are making artificial intelligence what it is today. It is visual recognition, object recognition. It is speech acquisition and understanding. Now think about that, right? If the artificial intelligence is capable to see, to listen, and talk to you, you're very likely to have a very transparent relationship with them. Actually, in October, talking about transparency, some Microsoft scientists have reached a point of parity with human beings. The WER is the ability to recognize words in a spoken conversation. If you ask nowadays an AI to retranscribe a conversation the same way as a professional note-taker, they are reaching parity in terms of mistakes. Now, as a Spanish audience, you will probably understand that processing speech is very complex, right? There is the nuance of the language. One word in different contexts means different things. And then you've got accent, you've got the dialects, right? The Catalan and Galician, not exactly the same language, right? So you need to have a machine that is capable to take into consideration to render the right information. Now the beauty with accuracy, which we are talking here, is that it comes with speed. Now imagine first that you are talking to a personal assistant and most of the time that personal assistant doesn't understand a word you're saying, you would be frustrated. Now imagine also that you go to that artificial intelligence or to that digital sales rep and you tell them, okay, I want to buy a t-shirt. Wait, I'm processing the information. Wait, way, I think you want you want a t-shirt, right? You would probably lose patience. So now we've reached a point where not only are we processing the information really fast, but it is also with a high level of accuracy. Now, that opens a whole new realm of capabilities and scenarios. Think about deaf kids. They are not able to read, they're not able to listen because they've got a physical disability. The only way for them to blend into a class was to read. Now, if they've got a computer that is capable to process in real time what is being said by not only one but several persons in the room and retranscribe that into a written format, not only can they read the lips of the people, but they can also read the text and go back to it. Think about if you're able to process a text being spoken immediately, then you can work on it. Like, for instance, translate it in real time. If we can play the video.
Hi, can you guess where I live?
¿Te encuentras en América del Norte?
Yes. Do you live in Central Mexico?
Sí. ¿Te encuentras en Estados Unidos de América?
Yes. Do you live in the capital city?
Sí. ¿Estás cerca de Seattle?
You're very close to Seattle. Are you in Mexico City?
Sí. ¿Estás en Tacoma?
Yes. Very good guess.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Do you like living in Mexico City?
¿Te gusta vivir en la Ciudad de México?
Aquí está muy lindo.
Here is very nice.
What do you do for fun?
¿Qué haces para divertirte?
Voy a las playas de México.
I'm going to the beaches of Mexico.
I like to swim.
Me gusta nadar.
A mí también.
Me too.
Where in the world do you wish to travel?
¿A dónde en el mundo te gustaría viajar?
A Rusia.
To Russia.
¿Y tú?
And you?
Everywhere.
Sería increíble algún día verte en México.
It would be amazing to see you someday in Mexico.
I would really like to visit you sometime.
Me gustaría mucho visitarte algún día.
A mí también.
Me too.
Pretty incredible, right? You're able to talk to somebody in a foreign language without mastering that language. My team is scattered all over Europe. I've got some people in Milan, some people in Amsterdam. I don't speak a word of Dutch. But if I wanted with Skype, which is, now if you know what Skype at home, hit the button, translate, it's live. It's not futuristic, that's happening right now. But I can speak Dutch with my Dutch colleagues, I can speak English with my parents, etc., etc. So in the current political context, I think that's very powerful analogy. But there are, actually, according to the Silicon Valley analysts, there are 7 outcomes that we can expect from artificial intelligence. And those 7 outcomes are compounded. From the left-hand side, the very basic one, to on the right-hand side, for you, right-hand side, the most complex one. And if you continue with the analogy of raising a child, there's a lot of things to say and or to evaluate how this machine learning is getting more and more complex. Let's start with the first, which is perception. Perception is probably the most simple way to think about artificial output. You're used to that, right? You're used to say, okay, what's happening around me? You ask for measurable, reportable input. The artificial intelligence goes into a data set and provides you with the answer. What's the weather? What's the traffic? How many sales did we make? When we think about kids, we learn very early to notify. Our perception of what's around us is very easy to describe. Now, even men who struggle with expressing their feelings, right, they can describe a room. It's dark, it's hot. Kids are learning perception very fast. That's one of the first exercises we do. We describe the world around us. We played with the concept of perception with a piece of artificial intelligence that you can play with if you want. If you go on that website, how-o.net, you can submit a picture of yourself, and the artificial intelligence will process the perception of your face based on that picture, and will evaluate all you are based on your traits. Now, funny enough, this is one example where we hate that artificial intelligence is right? Typically, you want to be a little bit younger. I'm actually not 40. Here, I'm 18, right? But I don't play with it. That's exactly the type of perceptive machine learning that we have developed. The next step is notification. You want to get provided the information you ask for. Now, we love that, right? If I've got my personal agenda to deal with, I've got my wife's agenda, I've got my work agenda, I've got now 2 kids that I need to care over for, my brain can't process it all, right? So every now and then when I need to book an appointment, I love the technology to revert back to me and say, no, you can't book an appointment, you already booked. Notification is something we also learn very early, right? When you're a baby, you notify your mother you're hungry, you start crying. Or at school, you will raise your hand when you've got a question. We are learning the human being is processing that kind of information the same way that artificial intelligence is. We learn from the perception to the notification, from going getting information to pushing an information. The next one is suggestion. I'm not just providing you with the information you ask for, I'm making an analysis based on that information, and I'm suggesting something else. Now, again, this is something that we are all very familiar with. If you've got a Spotify account, that's this moment where at the end of your favorite music, another music is suggested to you. And here again, you've got this human learning capability. You can say, actually, I hate that music. And you can prevent there's a playlist to drift from Justin Timberlake to Justin Bieber, for instance. Right? For kids, they learn also very well that if they make a nice drawing and give it to their parents, the parents will smile back at them and put that piece of heart on the fridge. They will also learn that when it's almost time to go to the table for lunch, they will have to go and wash their hands. First, they will need to be reminded, then they will be notified, but at some point it will become automation. The kid will learn that before they get to the table, they need to wash their hands. They will learn that when they are asking something, they need to say please and thank you. Automation is this ability for artificial intelligence to deliver things that you always want without having you to ask for it. If you're triggering that report every week, then artificial intelligence and business intelligence suites will start to produce this report for you and push it to you. If you are a big Real Madrid fan and you're checking regularly the Real Madrid scores, at some point the machine will learn that it should push information about it. Ronaldo has scored, Benzema has scored, etc., etc. To the point where you don't need to ask for information. The information is coming to you. If I'm booking every Friday afternoon from 7 to 8 a restaurant, the next time I will call an app with artificial intelligence behind it, that app might be already pre-populated with those information that are my favorite slot in the week. And once we move from suggestion, we can move to prediction. Now, prediction is probably the thing that is the most difficult one. Yesterday, when I left to Madrid, I started to pack, and I took my suitcase. And then I had a moment where my 2-year-old boy looked at me and said, okay, what's going on? Now, those facts, I've got a suitcase, can be interpreted in two things. Daddy's going away, I feel sad. Or, there's a suitcase, we're going on holiday, I feel very happy. Right? So two similar symptoms, very different outcomes. That's the difficulty that we've got with predictions. We have to treat the information and project into the future with a level of confidence. Now, Microsoft has developed a technology called Bing Predicts. It's a technology that is based on anonymized data sets from search, but also social networks. It's integrating third-party data and first-party data to come up with predictions that are highly reliable. We started with things like American Idol. American Idol, for those who don't know, is a popularity-based contest. You've got 20 contestants who wants to be the next big star. And they will be singing, performing, and the public will vote for the best performer. What we did was, we looked at the performance, the search performance of each individual wannabe singer on the first day of the competition. We processed the information of social networks. People were tweeting about them. People were posting public information on Facebook. They were starting to search on YouTube for the latest clip of that singer. They were looking for news about him, where was he coming from, etc. Based on those signals from the search engines and the social networks, we were able to predict who would be eliminated during the course of the program and who will be the winner from the very first time. So no matter how Endemol is tricking the viewers with like plots, etc., during the course of the 3 months, we knew who will win the contest. Then we moved to a little bit more complexity. We moved to sports events. Now, you would probably understand the fact that fans don't make you win games. They are called the third man, but they are still the 13th player, but there are still a big number of people on the ground that are playing and are influencing the outcome of the game. However, those fans have got something that is pretty unique. It's called the insider knowledge. If I'm a Real Madrid fan, I will know everything about the players. I will know that Modric is injured right now, or he's not playing well because he's got a foot problem. I will know that Benzema has got problems in France with the criminal system, etc. I will know a lot of things about that team, right? Therefore, my knowledge and my concern or favorability to that team is probably more important than the average comments from the Twitter sphere or the Facebook space. So what we did was we processed all the same information we were using for popularity-based context, but we over-indexed the fans in that tree. We also multiplied by 4 the number of data sets that we use for that. We took into consideration weather, we took into consideration player statistics, team statistics, historical information, etc., etc., etc. We processed all that information to be able to do very solid prediction. For instance, during the last World Cup, from the last round, we knew we had 100% accuracy. From the 16th final all the way to the final, we were 100% accurate in our prediction. We knew that Brazil would not win. We knew that Germany would be world champion before the game started. Now, you would say it's football. We know that Germany always wins in the end, so that wasn't really a prediction. But we did the same with rugby. The Rugby World Cup in London last fall was predicted with 87% accuracy. We do the same with Wimbledon, with Tour de France. We do that actually in La Liga. At the moment, we're predicting that the Real Madrid will win the Liga by 1 point. over Barcelona. All right. But we are business people, so it's one thing to be able to predict sports, it's one thing to predict the outcome of a TV program. Can we predict the outcome of business? We've been working, we have exported our Bing Predict technology in our business intelligence suite. And it's currently as a free preview for our enterprise customer. You can actually use Bing Predict and the machine learning behind it with your own data set. And suddenly you can process search queries, social signals with your own data set to come up with very solid prediction about the outcome of your business. We work, for instance, with a concert promoter. We overlaid searchers on Bing and our Bing network. We combine that with information from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all our social network partners. We overlaid on top of that the information from the promoter, and we were able to predict with a high level of confidence the success of a specific singer around the country, which will enable the promoter to book the right venue of the right size to make sure that it wasn't too small, but more importantly for somebody that is very careful about return on investment, that the venue was not too big and that it was investing too much for a very small crowd. If you're able to predict with accuracy the future, then you can start to alter the future. Can you prevent bad outcomes? Using Bing Predict, I love that feature, by the way, which is embedded on devices like that. If you've got an Android phone, you can actually download content and play with it. I love that feature. That feature is geo-aware, right? My phone knows where I'm currently based. It has got access to my calendar, so it knows where I need to be. It's connected to the web all the time. So without me asking, the AI in this little piece of carbon can actually check what's the traffic between where I am and where I need to be, calculate the time that will take me to get there, and actually tell me, Cedric, if you want to catch your plane for London, you need to leave now, because there's a traffic jam on the way to the airport, and you will be late if you leave when you were planning to. Now, applying that to other fields, and medical research in particular, Microsoft Research in particular has been working with the oncology department of the University of Cambridge. And we were able to predict, actually to identify, people that were high risk of pancreatic cancer before they were diagnosed. Think about that. Before somebody goes to the doctor, we were able to identify, based on their search behaviors, that they had a pancreatic cancer risk. Now, this is critical because if you are able to identify very early that you've got a high risk, you can treat it. The remission rate is tripled on something that is a very lethal cancer threat. Now, how did we do that? Well, we started with people that were diagnosed with this pancreatic cancer, and we looked at what are they searching on, what are they searching for, and worked back from there and say, okay, can we find people that are searching for the same things to identify that they've got a risk? Because think about it, you will say stuff to a search engine that you're not saying to your closest friend. You've got this little thing that you're not sure about. You will be typing it into a search engine to figure out what it is. Now, this information is totally anonymized, so if we are able to identify that a user has got a high risk, we are not able to reach out to that person and say, Joe, you should go and see a doctor right now. But it tells you that the technology is there to do this prediction. And that's, for me, who have been impacted by cancer in my family, something that I cherish every single day. The last stage of the outcome is situational awareness. It's when suddenly the technology understands where you are, what you do, what you need, and suddenly provides you with the information you need to know right now that you will need to know later. Better than rambling about it, let me show you a video about that next. Can we play the video, please?
Something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the pivot head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response and you think, is everyone listening really well or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do. But artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate. And I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
Cedric works in our London office, and I've got the luxury every now and then to study from it. It's fascinating to see him interact with his environment through these smart glasses. Perception, notification, suggestion, and then we move to automation, we move to prediction, prevention, ultimately situational awareness. Those 7 outcomes are not mutually exclusive, they actually build upon each other. So what I wanted to do is, in conclusion of this presentation, I wanted to show you a final video that will bring all those outcomes into one single scenario. It's a scenario that is powered by the Bing technology, the search technology of Microsoft, but you will also recognize object recognition, speech to text, language processing and understanding. All that in a commercial environment. I was mentioning with the example of Pure House that we were expecting technology to move towards more conversational engagement, that bots were the new interface that we will be engaging with to consume information. This will also bring to life that concept, how we are no longer reliant on web pages to get to the information. We can interact with bots, bots can interact with each other to help you achieve what you want. Let's play the video.
Cortana, I want to dress like this. Can you help me find it? I like this one. Yes, please. Can I get it in a size 6? Cool. Cortana, please give them my payment and shipping info.
I don't know you, but I find artificial intelligence exhilarating. It's very rich, it's got a lot of potential, it can unlock a lot of things. It can enable children to talk to each other despite cultural barriers. It can help identify risk of cancer, of pancreatic cancer, and help to cure it. It raises, though, a question, an ethical question. Where should AI start and where should it stop? Now, some company thinks that artificial intelligence is the new Oedipus, that it will have to kill the father to blossom, that it will steal our jobs, that it will replace us. Now, at Microsoft, we are convinced that, on the contrary, artificial intelligence will work alongside the people to enable each and every one of us to fulfill our full potential, live our lives, communicate with others, get down the barriers. But to achieve that, we are conscious that we need to provide a framework. Just like with children, you need to provide the right education. So Microsoft has joined some initiatives that are both institutions from the academic background or the private sector, and we are looking forward to see the next governmental-led initiative. But we work with the University of Cambridge, where Stephen Hawking, Dr. Stephen Hawking, is trailblazing artificial intelligence and defining what should be the moral framework for that. We're working with partnership on AI, where Google, Facebook, etc. are all joining forces to define what the artificial intelligence should be. So I started this presentation with a question. Is there a heart in artificial intelligence? So personally, I think there is a heart in artificial intelligence. And that heart is ours. It's the heart of mankind. Thank you.